segment 2 is going to be a very interesting segment wherein we are going to emphasize the importance of capital gain over income tax. This is where we will be unveiling our top secret. It's not a top secret, but it's an important note wherein as an investor you should be aware this particular dimension is also available for you to plan your taxes. So pay keen attention for next 5 minutes, all years. Twinkle, twinkle, capital gains. We wonder why? Income tax. Don't worry, I'm not going to sing further. So we will now establish why capital gains has lot of benefits over income tax bullet by bullet. Before doing that, you may have one important question. Does user have choice to choose between these two? Only then it makes sense which is better and which is not. Yes, user does have choice between these two, not directly spoon fed it, but the methodology which an user adopts, he can determine whether he can have to enter into capital gains or income tax. For instance, in the previous segment, we have seen short-term equity gains. If he classified as a trader, then he will be paying under the income tax slab rate route. Else, if he determine himself as an investor, he will be paying short-term capital gains. That's one example. The other example which quickly comes to my mind is, if you invest in a fixed deposit, the interest income which is available for you will be coming under income tax slab rate. However, same risk exposure, liquid debt based instrument if you invest, there whatever gains you are getting post 3 years will be under long term capital gains. So the choice is with the user. Bullet point number 1, tax rate. If you see, the maximum tax rate under income tax slab is higher than the maximum tax rate under capital gains. Under income tax slab rate, if you are a HNI client, you have a good amount of income for the year, then 1/3 of your income is you have to pay as tax. The highest tax is 30%, and you have cess and other things. So literally 1/3 of your income is gone under income tax slab rate route. However, the maximum tax rate in capital gains is only 20%. So this way you will get a clear edge if you want to pay tax through capital gains. Bullet point number 2, exemptions. What do I mean by exemptions? In long term capital gain, until 1 lakh of capital gain, you have exemptions. For example, you buy some HDFC share 5 years before, and now you are selling it. Say you have bought it for 6 lakhs, now you are selling it for 12 lakhs. So 6 lakhs is your gain. However, what is taxed under capital gains is not the entire 6 lakhs. The first 1 lakh is exempted. The remaining 5 lakh is only taxed under capital gains. So this way, this exemption additional benefit is also available for you if you are going through capital gain route. Bulletin point number 3, deferred taxation. This is the most important crunch portion of this video. Please pay keen attention. What do I mean by deferred taxation? There are 2 options for the viewers. One option, you are given an option to invest 1 crore rupees, say for in the year of 2020, 1 crore rupees in fixed deposit at the rate of 5%. Okay. The other choice, you can invest this 1 crore rupee with the same risk exposure, debt based mutual fund, liquid fund, okay, for 10 years with the same interest rate of 5%. These 2 choices you have. Now, what would be the investor's wealth in the year of 2030? Let us see with this table. See, in this table 1, if you see, the first column is the year, second column is the interest credited for each year. The interest is straightforward calculation. Capital into percentage of interest, you get the interest. But for fixed deposit, whether you take the money out of the bank, whether you keep it inside the bank, it is taxed on the accrual basis. Meaning, whatever interest earned by you, you will have to pay tax upfront then and there in the respective years. For example, see, in year 2020, you have given 1 crore, you have earned 5 lakhs as interest. Say for example, you are at 30% slab rate, 30% of this 5 lakh, 1.5 lakhs you are paying it as a tax. The net amount of 3.5 lakhs is only available for you to compound. Not the entire 5 lakhs is available for you to compound. However, in the segment 2, you can clearly see this particular mutual fund, whatever interest you are getting, it will be just compounded fully. And where is the question of taxation comes? It is coming at the dead end of it. In the year 2030, where your 1 crore has become 1.6 crore, this is where you pay tax. That too, say for example, you don't avail the indexation benefit, you pay 10% tax on it. Your net worth after 10 years is 1.6 crores minus 6 lakhs, 1.56 crores. However, here you can see each respective year you are paying tax in the respective years, and the remainder amount is what is going to in your kitty, and only that much amount is being compounded. So you are not only paying tax upfront, you are also losing the compounding benefit for all these particular interest which you have lost in the form of taxation. So in this segment 1, you can see his net worth is way lower than the segment 2 net worth. There is no, in terms of risk, there is absolutely no difference. The only key element is tax. Hope this point is useful for you. In short, you can notice fixed deposit is taxed at 30%, the highest rate, whereas the mutual fund is taxed at only 10%. Whether the risk and return is different? No. The risk profile is one and the same for both the instruments, and the return is also 5%. So the only change is the mode of investment. If you plan yourself in this way, you can straight away benefit 20% tax on your returns. Whether this concern is only for the investor? No. This is a major concern for fellow traders like me, because many of the brokers will have a tie-up with a number of specified bankers, wherein for margin funding they may require you to place all your money in any particular fixed deposit in those banks. So as a trader, your mindset will be this return is a known return, 5% or 6% is a known return, whereas if I invest in some liquid based mutual fund, the return is unknown. The reason is it may give 4% one year, then 6% in some other year. So just because of this small fluctuation concern, the fellow traders are bound to invest in fixed deposit. But in a longer run, if you notice, you may have to end up 20% extra tax for your returns. Hope I have emphasized this enough, the importance of capital gain with this example. Bulletin point number 4, indexation. It is one of the key benefit available under capital gains. So what is indexation? Indexation, I have explained in the earlier segment, let me repeat it. Indexation is nothing but it adjusts your initial investment for inflation. For example, you have bought say for one particular asset, say for 1 crore and selling it for 5 crores. Actually, the capital gain should be 4 crores, right? But the cost of inflation year on year, it is increasing every year. So if you adjust the cost of inflation to your investment, had it been the inflation been adjusted to your investment value now at this particular 5th year would have been 2 crores. So the actual gain which you have obtained by selling this particular asset is only 3 crores, because this 1 crore adjusted for inflation would be automatically 2 crores. So this particular benefit of taking the indexation benefit fully is available only under capital gains. So this is one of the key benefit available for capital gain taxpayers. Now the final bulletin point 5. benefits of complete tax evasion under capital gains. But there is very few scenarios for that. One of the scenario I will say, if you own a house and you sell that particular house and you buy another house in some other place, the entire capital gain which you have got by selling this house number 1 is completely exempted. The reason is, the idea is you are just selling this house and moving on to the another house. So government is giving you that benefit. I will not tax you, even though you bought this house for 1 crore and you have sold it for 100 crores. The government is saying, if you are using the entire capital gains and buying one another house in other locality, then this particular capital gains is completely exempted. So these kind of benefits is available through capital gains rule. I hope I was able to explain to my best of my knowledge why capital gains, selecting capital gains route is better over income tax. Thank you, friends. Hope you find this session useful. Our next session is going to be on options. We'll start from the basics. We have started shooting all those videos. I'm very excited. Hope you will also be after watching those. This is my Twitter ID. If you wish, you can follow me there. I have started sharing my trade lots for education purpose of late. If you wish, you can follow me there. We will catch up very soon in the next video. Thank you. Stay safe. Goodbye.